Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Paul and All. As always, I'm your host, Paul Casey. Joining me today, you know what? I'll just let him introduce himself.
Hey everybody, my name is Jake.
Good friend of mine, all the way from Michigan, calling in. Now, we met in Hawaii, right? Through
Correct.
Lost, for those who may not listen to Lost with Friends. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Where to begin? I am 24 years old. I am a national trainer for a large fast food restaurant out there nationally and internationally. I don't know what else to say. I'm not too much of an exciting guy.
That's absolutely not true.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Huge Lost fan. Jumped in early season one. And after the show ended, of course, I kept pretty active in the Lost community and wanted to keep the love of Lost going. So I heard about Lost 2014, and I knew instantly that I was going to go, even if I couldn't rally anybody to come with me. So I did end up making the trip alone, but it was definitely the best decision I've ever made.
And we met there. First night, I think, right?
The first night at the welcome party, I jumped in on a conversation about the worst episode of Lost, and from there, the rest is history.
Absolutely. So now we were deciding earlier what we would talk about and whatever, and I figured since you're from Michigan, the Detroit area in particular, we hear so much about Detroit in the media and things like that. Can you tell us about the real Detroit?
The real Detroit is a mixture of what a lot of people have read and what they haven't seen yet. I won't run away or shy away from the stories and the actual statistics that have shown the negative side of Detroit and the pictures as well. Those are real. Those are there. I can't change that. I can't fight that. But there's also it's a work in progress. It's not the same Detroit as it was several years ago through the bankruptcies, the auto companies failing, even the corruption. We're not there yet, but we're getting there, and it's definitely at a much quicker pace than I thought it would be. But yeah, so it's a combination of what you have seen and what you haven't seen.
Okay, I was actually talking with someone at work the other day, and I said that, you had asked me about possibly coming out, and this person was like, oh, yeah, there's no real good time to visit Detroit. And I'm like, what's that supposed to mean? And, it was, oh, well, Detroit, blah, 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 they're so terrible. And I'm like, I highly doubt that, because Jake thought that our area was going to be terrible based on what former Vice President Joe Biden said, and I'm pretty sure he had a pleasant time when he was here.
Absolutely. So, yeah, Scranton, in Scranton-Wilkes-Barre area, there was this negative connotation about it, and I didn't know too much about it. And so I read about Scranton before I flew in, and sure enough, even the many articles I were reading too were that Scranton's turning around. Of course, there wasn't that much to do, but it wasn't at least a horrible place to visit, and I had a good time there. I would definitely go back.
There you go, people. Detroit and Scranton, not so bad.
Yes. I literally have a mouse pad that I'm looking at right now. It's an aerial shot of downtown Detroit, and it says across the center, it's not that bad here.
So we were talking, okay, so from Detroit, I have to ask you, I'm going to name you three artists artists or musical groups. Which is more representative of Detroit, or which is more, I don't know how to say it. I guess representative of Detroit would probably be the best. Eminem, Insane Clown Posse, or Kid Rock?
All right. So I'm gonna knock Insane Clown Posse off there immediately. So they are. I did look into this a little bit. They are do have Detroit roots. They also have roots in the suburbs surrounding Detroit, but I haven't listened to much ICP. I don't feel like they dropped the Detroit name out there. I don't see a lot of juggalos in the area. In fact, I don't know if I've ever really seen a juggalo in real life, at least with like the makeup and stuff. I'm not down with the clowns, so I'm gonna knock ICP right off that. Kid Rock. Now, Kid Rock is no, I don't think no, he's never lived in Detroit. He's lived in the suburbs of Romeo and Roseville, close by. But he's a big name, though. He definitely shouts out Detroit as often as he can. He talks about the state of Michigan, and he represents it really well. He talks about he's got the song All Summer Long, and he talks about a summertime in northern Michigan, and it's that's kind of how it is, summertime in northern Michigan, where it's wild and free, and you got the lake and the beaches and women and no rules and no limits or anything like that. So he's very representative of Michigan and Detroit at times too. Now Eminem, yeah, he's definitely Detroit born. He did spend some time in the suburbs. People like to argue that he never really was in Detroit, but the house from the Marshall Mathers LP2 album cover, that's in Detroit city limits. So, he lived there. He lived in Detroit. He drops many, many references to Detroit and real places in Detroit. It's always crazy to drive past something that you hear referenced in a song and you're like, whoa, that's really the Bel Air Shopping Center? It's crazy. But best representative, I'm still saying Detroit. Especially the movie 8 Mile, for those of you who've seen it. That's for a poor white man, or even, I guess, any race living in Detroit. That's their lives, whether it's the trailer park, it's the shitty factory job. That was very representative of their lives in that time frame.
Okay. I've always wondered because, I actually listened to all three of those. Not so much on the Insane Clown Posse, but I have heard them. I'm not a fan, But yeah, I've always kind of wondered which thing or group or singer kind of brings it home and makes you go, yeah, that represents me. So, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Now, okay, Detroit songs. It's not going to be all music, I promise. But
Okay,
Detroit
no.
songs. All Summer Long. What is the one? Don't Stop Believin', or Detroit Rock City.
All
A
right.
Kiss.
We love all three songs here. We really do. Don't Stop Believin', that's played at the end of every Detroit Red Wings game, which is our hockey team for the NHL. And of course, the crowd gets amped up when there's that line, born and raised in South Detroit. The music cuts out actually at that point, and the entire crowd says South Detroit. And everybody loves it. Even I do. It's so cliche now here in Detroit, but you'll catch me doing it.
I actually caught you doing it when you were here. We were driving
Yes.
around, and you were singing that song.
That's right. Especially for out of towners and they know I'm from the Detroit area, I will gladly turn the music off and shout that part of the lyric. Detroit Rock City. Detroit does have a pretty good history with rock and roll, especially in its earlier days with Motown. It's a great song too, just in general, even if I wasn't from the city. All Summer Long, again, a fantastic song. That one really hits home because I haven't experienced the exact same things Kid Rock has in northern Michigan, but I do have family that has a cottage in northern Michigan, and many, many families in southern Michigan commute up to northern Michigan for their vacations, especially in the summer. So I do have many summer memories on the beach, on the lake, with friends, around campfires and things like that. So it takes me back a little bit, and I think it takes a lot of people back.
Okay.
And it's a great song.
Oh, of course. I think they're all great songs, honestly. Don't Stop Believin' was our high school senior song, which I didn't
That's
really
right.
understand for us, especially because I know people who I work with who are. Some of them have kids my age, and they're like, "That was my high school song too," and I'm like,
Oh, so
"That's
they just haven't changed it.
pretty much." When you find, I mean, well, when you find something you like it, and that's all there is. As you know, Jake, around here there's not much going on, so we even stick to the same music.
You probably stick to the same mayors too, right? Uh,
All right, go ahead, tell the story, because I know you've been waiting to tell it somewhere.
I mean, I just actually replayed these videos the other day. I mean, me and you were at a bar, and I don't even God knows what city we were in, but
It was
wonderful.
Pittston, by the way, for
Princeton,
anyone
yes.
who's wondering.
Yeah, it was a wonderful bar. Don't get me wrong, I loved it. Great night. I still think about how awesome it was. But the mayor of another city was there. I won't drop his name just in case you're not up for that or anything. But there was a mayor from a nearby city there, and he was having a great time. He had many drinks. He got on the dance floor. He was dancing with many people. And according to you, Paul, this is normal. It's normal behavior for him.
Absolutely.
He goes out to
Absolutely.
all the events and does this, and that's just not something I see here in my part of the country. So it was very odd. It was great. Like I mean, he was having a great time. I was having a great time. So it didn't hurt anybody, but I just thought it was odd and funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's, small towns, everybody knows everybody pretty much. And like I said, he goes out with that particular band almost everywhere they go. So he knows a lot of the regulars that also go out. So he's there and he's dancing with them and whatever. And his sister, I believe she works the door sometimes when that band charges a cover, so like they're very good friends with the band and whatever. But I was more, you were fascinated with the fact that the mayor of a town would be out. I was fascinated with the fact that you were fascinated by that.
I know. How many times did you just catch me staring in that direction?
Absolutely. And then you just start like,
giggling under my breath. I took a video of it. That's how much it amazed me. I just saw that video a couple days ago and was laughing again over it.
oh, it was like you said, it was a great night. And you are fascinated with another aspect of that night.
Which do tell.
Okay, so I am not a big drinker. For anyone who's listening, anyone who knows me, Jake immediately knows where this story is going. I'm not a big drinker, but when I go out, I mean, I drink, and I tend to order. I'm a Jack and Coke person, and sometimes I'll get 151 in tribute to one of my cousins who passed away. 151 and Coke, no ice, and actually I kind of learned through him, not to order ice so much because it waters down the drinks a lot of the time. And a lot of times when I go to certain bars, they don't really listen to that. This one did when I asked the one time, but pretty much there was a lot of ice. And by the time I was on my second or third Jack and Coke, Jake wasn't even about halfway through his first beer, and he turns to me and is like, how fast are you drinking these? And I'm like, well, let's see. And they put the mug in front of me, and because I drink through the straw because I'm not a very manly man, so I drink through a straw. And I, downed it, and I'm like, okay, it's 8:50 now, let's see. And I downed it, and it was still 8:50.
Right.
And Jake was like, what is going on? And what was the final count by the end of the night?
Was it 11?
I believe it was 11.
It was 11. Yeah, it was 11. Oh my gosh. Yes, no, it was 11 Jack and Cokes, but like you had mentioned, watered down, ice cubed up. So, but still impressive because even watered up and ice cubed up, I couldn't have done 11.
Which is odd because like I said, I don't drink that often, and but it was just, I just kept going and going and going.
Well, I think double impressive. It didn't affect you. Like, at least if it did, you hit it very well. But I was under the impression that you probably didn't have too much of a buzz.
Yeah, that was the other part was I didn't really get like towards the end of the night I got like the teeniest buzz, but I was walking perfectly, I was talking, and everything was, it was as if we had just walked in the bar, my state, when we, I mean, not that Jake was falling over or anything, but with how many drinks I had, it was as if we were just walking in the bar when we were just walking out. I was exactly the same way.
Exact same. Exact same. So that was impressive, for sure.
Um. All right. So now you obviously, and I'm perfectly okay with that. You don't want to name the particular food chain that you work for, but you said you give tours around the city sometimes, but you use 3D models.
Yeah. So I guess I can explain a little more. Uh, I work for Little Caesars. Actually, I'm not too afraid of that because I'll talk about them in a good light. Love that company. Um, the owner, Mike Illich, he's involved in several projects across the city to make it better. We're building a new hockey arena for the Detroit Red Wings. My company is also building a new headquarters directly next to our current one. So we've got some exciting things going on in the city. And I guess what Mike Illich actually decided, he called it the District Detroit. It's 50 blocks of this downtown area. That's going to be a mixed-used, mixed-developed area with restaurants, bars, sporting places, arenas, and stuff like that, theaters, housing, stores, just et cetera, et cetera. Tons of things to do packed in this 50-block area. It's not the first of its kind. There's plenty of other cities around that do it. Georgetown in Washington, D.C. is one of them. Lodo out in Denver, Colorado. South Beach in San Francisco, California. All those are very similar ideas where you pack your entertainment, your living, your dining all in one close proximity. Proximity. There you go. That's a word. Anyways, across the street from my headquarters is Comerica Park, which is where the Detroit Tigers play baseball. Inside Comerica Park, there's a room. We call it the District Detroit Preview Center. And inside that room, we have a bunch of 3D models of the 50 block area with, real 3D buildings built to scale and stuff. And we can point out, here's where this is coming up. Here's where this is coming up. We're standing right here. Across the street's going to be this. There's plenty of artists rendering photos. We can show them of what the finished design's going to look like. We got a couple videos for there. It's super fun being a tour guide, especially because I enjoy the city so much. I enjoy my company so much, and I enjoy what we're doing for the city that I'm actually very just naturally passionate about it. And I give this tour to franchisees from all across the country. So a lot of them either have that negative connotation about Detroit, or they're not sure what's going on in Detroit, and so it blows their mind. Paul, I wish I could take you on this tour. It's crazy. People that don't know much about Detroit, they come out and they're like, wow, this city is on the up and up right now. And it is. And I love being able to show people through photos, through the model, through the videos, however, that we are on the up and up.
That actually sounds really awesome. And we talked about if I'll be able to come out there for a few days before we go back to Hawaii, a few days before, a few days after, and I'm definitely looking into it. I'm looking into trying to make little weekend trips to see a few people in the United States, or maybe even a few certain people in Canada or things like that. So, I mean, obviously, I'm definitely looking to come out there, and if you can sneak me into the headquarters thing, I would love to see the renderings.
Right. Yeah, that's the goal. Sounds like a good goal to me. My badge works. I can get us access in there 24/7. It's just sneaking around security sometimes.
I'm also going to talk about Little Caesars in a positive light. Love their pizza. Not looking for sponsorship, I promise. Love their pizza. Every so often, I will take a picture and show Jake, hey, look, I bought your pizza today. And actually, I sent you one, was it yesterday, as of this recording? So Yeah, I ate the whole thing within 30 minutes. I felt
There
like
you
such a
go.
fatty.
It was a good looking pizza. You know, obviously, I whenever I look at a pizza, or you send me a photo of a pizza, I have the, you know, that eye for what a pizza should look like because of all I've been with the company for 8.5 years now, and obviously we have certain standards we hold our pizzas to. So of course, you know, I'm looking at that pizza right now, and I mean, besides some bubbles that aren't supposed to be there, it looks good. So
Jake
I look at it
approves.
in an analytical way. I don't look at it like, I mean, it looked delicious. I'm sure it was, like as you said, but I also look at it from a employee perspective.
I do the same thing if I'm ever out at a flea market or something and somebody's selling produce and I'm looking at, I look, and the funniest thing is, people be, oh, locally grown produce or whatever. And it's the exact same thing that we carry in our store from like California or whatever.
Holy smokes! Isn't that false advertising? Isn't that frowned upon?
It's frowned upon, but it's a flea market. What does it matter?
All right, not much regulation, I guess.
No. They don't really have flea markets or but what would they call them? Midwest swap meets, maybe?
No, no, both. Actually, I'm familiar with the term. I don't spend too much time there, but yeah, I'm familiar with them.
Oh, Mr. Richie Rich over here.
Yeah, let's not go that far.
um, no, okay, wait. Now, terms that are different. You were telling me because we call it soda here, you call it pop there,
Correct.
right?
Yep.
Now, what did you say in another part of the country it was?
It's Coke, just Coke.
No matter
Doesn't
the
matter
brand.
Doesn't matter what you want. It's Coke.
That is so weird.
Yeah. Southern United States, southwestern ish United States, I believe. Just Coke.
That is so weird to me.
Absolutely. I mean, I can't imagine like what because what if like
What if
because
you prefer Pepsi?
yeah, exactly. Well, but I guess they'd only have one or the other. If I said Coke, that's automatically a Pepsi in a way. But what if I wanted a Sprite, a clear drink like a Sprite, and I said Coke? Are they going to bring me some darker drink like Pepsi or Coke? It just doesn't work. You can't say a specific product name for a generic, for a generic term. It's not possible. I don't know.
That would be like, and I know you're going to get all angry when I say this, but that would be like me going, oh yeah, let's go order a Domino's instead of pizza.
Well, right, it doesn't work because then I'd be like, what if you didn't want Domino's and then I come up with a Domino's pizza and you're like, no, I meant something like Little Caesars. And it's like, well, you got to be a little more specific. Yeah, you can't use a specific company for a generic term. I don't know. That's just I think, like rules of living there, but I don't know.
No, I mean, I agree with you.
They make it work. Yeah, we did talk about this, and we did have kind of a similar "what the heck" moment.
Yeah, yeah, but we have to recreate it for the mics now, Jake.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I'm still passionate about it. Don't get me wrong. Recreating will be easy when I still have the same frustration as I did back then.
Back then, meaning what, like a month ago?
Yeah, something like that. A month, 2 months ago, something like that.
Okay, so we were talking the other day, and because we were looking for potential topics of discussion, and we kind of got, and I know we touched on it before, but we kind of got into talking about music, and I said, oh, we need to save this conversation for, the podcast. I don't remember exactly what we were talking about, but it was something about hip-hop music, right?
Yeah, was it that image I sent to you, and I was like, which album would you pick or something? Or
well, that
no.
I think you sent me that based on the conversation.
Yeah, gosh, what were we talking about?
Because I know that I had said, what was it? I know I said something about, Snoop Dogg and how I'm not that big a fan of like some of his later stuff as much as I am some of his earlier stuff. I know,
Right.
like I know it was kind of like a new hip hop versus old hip hop sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's what we were discussing.
We were actually sitting out on break today, and this car rolls through the parking lot blasting like whatever, I don't know, some modern rap song, and I didn't know it, and my boss was like, Paul, I thought that was you for a second on your phone, and I'm like, I would not listen to this. And I said that I actually saw a video recently. It's been going around, so everybody's probably seen it, but it's a video of Snoop Dogg on a news show or something where he said, um, he's like, oh, I was in the studio and somebody was trying to get me to rap like these new guys, and it was like, he goes, all right, do one of these, da 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 da, and he goes, and I looked at him like, I don't do this, get out of here. And then my boss,
you can't tell the dog father how to rap.
Exactly.
That's no. Respect your legends. That's what I've always said in anywhere in music, but really in the rap game too, is respect your legends. Take, for instance, Nas. I've never listened to him. He's never really, like, the little that I have heard of him, like, nothing stuck out. But I will never talk crap about him because his record sales and his reputation and stuff, respect your legends. He's been in the game for how long now?
You never heard the Ether song?
I never heard Ether, but I know of Ether, and I know about the feud between him and Jay-Z. So, and how integral in hip-hop history that was. So, again, respect your legends, and I'm hoping your mouth is now shut after I just dropped that bombshell on you.
It is, but I'm still shocked.
I know. That's... some things, I'm not going to say I'm the biggest hip-hop head out there, that's for sure. I mean, I definitely probably know a little more history than I do the music sometimes. But it's something I need to do. I definitely need to get into more old school hip hop. Like, of course, I know of NWA, and I listened to a little bit of them before Straight Outta Compton. But then after Straight Outta Compton, I was like, I need to listen to more of them and dip back into that because I like what they were rapping about, and I like the music. So.
Yeah, they're pretty much, if you're gonna get into rap, like, that's one of the anything Dr. Dre related, in my opinion. But
yes,
yeah. I feel really bad because I don't want to say we've run out of things to talk about, but I think we've run out of things to talk about.
All right.
No, it's not.
How's the Hawaii planning going?
I still haven't booked anything. I am looking to see because I have to make a payment on one of my credit cards. So once that's done, I will. I did put in the weeks for vacation at work. We have a planner that goes around, and it's like, okay, everybody pick what weeks you want. So I did pick the 2 weeks that I want to take, and of course one of the guys picked the exact one of the same weeks, like moments before I did, and I marked it off anyway because I'm like, this is when I'm going. Like, there's no question.
Which days? I gotta mark this down now. Which exact?
If I'm not mistaken, it's the weeks end, because our weeks go from Monday to Sunday.
Okay.
So if I remember correctly, it's the week that ends. Let me pull up my calendar here. One moment. I'd want to keep talking because I don't want there to be dead air. That's not good for a podcast.
Absolutely not.
Okay, October. The week ending, I believe it's the 8th and the 15th.
The 8th is a Sunday. The 8th and the 15th? Okay. So starting the 2nd, that Monday the 2nd?
Yeah, that'll probably be when. I might actually try to work that day. When does it starts on the 5th?
Yeah, Thursday the 5th.
Okay, yeah, so I might work maybe Monday and Tuesday, fly out Wednesday, but I know the last time I was there, I don't know if this happened to you, but I got there and I left here at like 7 in the morning, and by the time I got there, it was like 1:30 in the afternoon, and I had an issue checking in, and then by the time I finally got everything all taken care of, I took a shower, it was like 3, maybe 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I was like, oh, I should go out and explore, I should do this. I was asleep by like 6, and then I woke up at 3 a.m.
And that was the day before all the Lost 2014 stuff?
I believe so, yeah.
See, I got there, the way it worked for me, I was actually in Las Vegas for a work event, and everybody else flew home. I stayed in Vegas for 2 extra days, and then flew from Vegas to Hawaii. Hell of a trip. So I got there minutes before the Jorge Garcia event started. So it was throw your stuff down and get there, you know. So
Well, luckily
uh,
you were staying in the same hotel.
right, so it was just floors below, and I made it. I made it on time. Yeah, so I'd like to do Pearl Harbor, and that's almost a day in itself, depending on where you're going. The thing's open from like 7:30 to 5, but to get to the battleship, that's only open till 3. So you kind of got to go early in the morning. Um, so I want to do that, and I'm half debating if I want to go to this island called Lanai, something like that, or I think Lanai. It's there's a cat sanctuary on there with like hundreds of cats. I'm a huge cat person, so like to be surrounded by cats, like that's if that's how I die, that's how I die. But I want that opportunity. So it's a 45-minute flight between the islands. I don't know. I'm trying to figure that in there and just how many days exactly am I going to need off? Because the flight back, and you can relate to this being in the Eastern time zone, that's a whole day. That's could be longer than a day. Going from Hawaii to anywhere on the East Coast, that's a day of travel.
Absolutely. When I left there, it was I think 12:30 in the afternoon
Uh-huh.
on a Thursday, Friday, and by the time I got home, it was 1:30 in the afternoon the next day.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
really, it was
So
only I think like 9 hours of no, I don't know how long it was, but it was like I lost a day coming back.
yeah, so I gotta factor that into taking time off. I don't know. Some of the flights I looked at, like get me back either at like 6:30 in the morning, so that I can go straight to work, which would be miserable, but I'll do it. Or I come back at like 10 o'clock and I just do a half day in the afternoon. But
Well, that's why when I went the last time, I had a few. I made sure that from work I had a few extra days off so that I could, I had like 2 3 days off so that I could try to, get back into a normal sleep cycle.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, I did not know you were a cat person. I
You're right. Yeah, I don't think we discussed it, but yes.
I am not always, not so much anymore, but I often send cat related, humorous things to Megan and Alyssa. Now that I know I will have to include you in on those messages.
Megan's cat is adorable.
I, I just said to her the other day, it is my favorite non fictional cat.
Yeah, I got two of them that live with my mom that I used to live with as well. So, yep.
Yeah, I didn't know that about you. I would never have guessed that either.
Most people don't, and then they are shocked to hear that. I think I was talking to Oh yeah, no, I was talking to like Esteban, Kevin, and a few other people about going to this cat island, and they're like, "God, no!" They were like, "That'd be the most miserable thing ever." Like Kevin's like, "Oh, dogs are where it's at. Like if it was a dog island, I'd go." And I was like, "All right, guys, I'm just gonna sit this out. Like sorry for putting in my 2 cents, but I guess okay."
Well, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, Esteban. I mean, I know you said Kevin, but I know Esteban. I'm pretty sure is into dogs as well, or at
They
least,
were
uh,
all into dogs.
yeah. Well, I know Esteban is into dogs not being able to catch things.
Oh yes, yes, that's very true. His the videos, the gifs and stuff that he shows are hilarious.
Um, yeah, no, I didn't know that. I'm not a pet person at all. I don't really like pets. I never really had pets. I had fish when I lived with my grandfather, and the way that because I don't really remember him very well. He passed away when I was 8 9 years old. But the way that my mother tells the story is that because I would be there through the week because I would go to school and because my parents worked, so then I would go home on the weekends, and pretty much from the time that I left there to going back to my parents' house, the fish would die because no one else would feed them over the weekend, and
Oh,
every yeah. And it was my grandfather, my aunt, my cousin, and I all living there, and no one else would feed the fish for the whole weekend. And so I would come home, I would come back, and I guess I would cry and whatever because my fish were dead. and my grandfather would buy me new fish. And after a certain point, my mother goes, "You have to stop buying him fish because he cries every time they die. You can't just keep buying him new ones."
Right. Now it's a very temporary solution to a bigger problem.
But yeah,
Oh,
that was pretty much. They had a cat while I was there, but pretty much, yeah, I've never. Even I lived with my uncle a few years ago for a few months, and they had like three dogs. Two of them were big dogs, because I don't know different types of dogs, but they were like big dogs, and they thought they were lap dogs. So like they're constantly climbing on me, and I'm just like, get off,
right.
because I don't like pets, and I don't care who knows it. Internet. I'm stating it right here. I stated I don't like The Walking
Fact.
Dead. I don't like pets. I'm just saying everything to make the internet not like me and not tune into my shows.
More thumbs down for you.
Did you see that? I posted
I
the other
did.
day.
I read that, and I was like, "Whoa, man!
Well,
Have you
you're gonna
gotten
be.
any comments yet? Like, has anybody like given a reason why they didn't like it?"
I didn't hear anything. I didn't see anything. For those of you who are unaware, I posted on my Facebook page the other day how my mother was my first guest on this show, and that episode got a thumbs down on YouTube. And like my friend Angelina said, like you're putting things out there on the internet, people are not going to like it. But like it just made me sad that like the first episode with a guest, which had my mother, got a thumbs down. You know what I mean?
What did you and your mom talk about? Because I haven't gotten around to listening to that one yet.
Well, shame on you, Jake. No,
I guess.
we started out talking about the pretty much the year of the Reaper 2016, and did a lot of people really, did a lot of celebrities really die, or was it because of the immediacy of the media and things like that? And then almost like this, about halfway through, which I think is a sign that maybe the show should only be a half hour, I don't know. But about halfway through, we kind of ran out of that topic, and then we got into talking about a little bit of family stuff. But,
Gotcha.
you know, I didn't think it was boring. And granted, it was family who said it, but one of my cousins messaged me because we talked about her, and she goes, "I was almost yelling at my Kindle because I wanted to comment so bad on what you guys were talking about. It was as if you were talking right here in the room."
Huh.
So maybe we'll
So
get
that sounds
some.
like a good if you get somebody that wants to like join in on the conversation, even though there's no physical way that you'd ever be able to hear them or anything like that, I think that's a good sign, even if it was a family member or something like that. But I listen to a talk show on my morning commute, and yeah, I definitely like say things to the host and stuff like that. That even though there's no way they can hear me, like I still feel a part of the conversation, and that I still want to get my opinion and voice out there. So I think that's a good sign, though, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Hopefully, we'll get some good reactions on this one. Get
Yeah,
some
go
people
ahead
to
and
listen
yell
to
at
it.
me for, liking cats. If you yell at your computer, how could you like cats? They're assholes. Like, that's good. Go ahead, yell at me for it. Like, we want that kind of conversation.
Write it in the
One-sided.
comments. We're, on the Lost show, for anybody who listens to that, Megan especially is always on there where she's like, "Come at me, people," because she's like, "I like Kate and whatever." Now, I don't want to get too much into that because that's its own show, but she's constantly like, fight me in the comments.
Oh, Megan.
She actually said that because I did an episode with her and Mike. I was finishing up that edit today, and she said that she wants to hear an episode with you and Mike.
Sure. I mean, any particular reason, though?
I don't know. Well, she
Do we-
said at first she said because through text Esteban somewhat now he didn't call her out. He was being himself, and he's a very dry, sarcastic person. And at the time when I was editing, he was listening to her episode of the Lost show, and he's like, "She's very good. She should be a recurring guest." And I said, "Oh, you're listening to it. That's great." And I said, I said, "You should be too, because I'm editing your episode." And I said, "This conversation is great." And, I said, "It's going to be slightly longer than hers, and he made some sort of comment about like and of better quality, you know.
Oh.
And so I was telling her like, oh, Esteban said this and whatever, and then I'm like, because I knew she would get it as like not an actual insult, and I'm like, and he said this,
Oh,
and
yeah.
she goes, all right, and then she kind of called him out, and she's like, we need to both be on this, on an episode and have a guest off, and I'm like,
You know,
I don't.
we should do that. We should get a collective group, even if it several of us, to join in and do an episode. Maybe like the finales or something like that.
I've actually been thinking about that. Yeah.
That would be fun. That would be really fun.
I've been trying to figure out if that would work because as anyone who's listening to this may realize, we are recording this over Skype, and whether it's through Skype or Facebook, it's very, very minimal, but there is a bit of a delay, so I don't necessarily want too many people talking over each other. And part of the problem is the program that I use to record these conversations. And again, I haven't tried it with multiple. Like the two of them were in the same place, so it wasn't as difficult. But it
Right.
records the master track, it records an author track, which would be me, and the participants track, which would be you or them or whoever. And I don't know if it's going to. If like say if it was you, me, and Esteban, I don't know if it would record you two as one track. So I don't necessarily want it to be like if I talk over you or you talk over me, I can kind of cut out my part or your part and leave just, you know what I mean, the person who actually should be heard. But if you talk over Esteban, I won't necessarily be able to cut that out as well.
Right. Right. Okay. Yeah.
So
Good question there. Tough, but
my
I'm
only
definitely down
option.
for trying it.
What's that?
I'm down for trying anything, I guess, when it comes to this.
Oh,
So,
absolutely. Good ad of when it comes to this.
yeah,
Um,
I know. I was like, ooh, first time I said it, I was like, oh, make sure to add that. I am down to try a lot, as you may know, Paul, but not everything.
no. Well, no, but the only thing I can think of, because right now, for anybody who doesn't know, we obviously this is strictly an audio podcast show. But I'm thinking just for us, if we ever do that, just for us, for our own well-being, so that we can try to not talk over each other, I'm thinking we should do a group video chat if we were going to do that. Obviously, I'd cut any video out, but it would just be so that, if I see that you're about to say something, then that means that I won't speak over you. I think there's less of a chance of, crossover in terms of conversation.
Yeah, no, good. You very good point, and I don't see a problem with that. So, yeah, that's something to think about.
Yeah. So I'm going to put you on the spot right now since I'm really
Sure.
trying to not cut this episode at all. What is the next episode that you're going to be? Unfortunately, this kind of turned into like the Lost with Friends like sub show.
Sub show, yeah.
And definitely next time you're on this show, if there is a next time you're on this show, I will have more things to talk about, I promise. But
Yes.
what's the next episode you're going to be on the Lost with Friends show? You could tease that a little bit, let the people know, whet their appetite just a little bit, as they say.
That is a great question that I'm going to throw back at you, Paul, because I don't know if we've decided. And did we confirm the next episode? Why don't you give a good introduction to that?
I honestly, I don't remember if I know you said you like talking about Locke episodes, but I don't remember if we came up with any one in particular. I know I'm doing, I don't want to tell too much about who's going to be doing what. The plan is I'm recording the Confidence Man discussion sometime this upcoming week, and what's after that, Solitary?
Yeah, Solitary is after Confidence, man.
Yeah, so I'm supposed to be recording those two rather soon, but I think after that, there's only... Oh, the motorcycle just went by. That's how warm it is here, by the way, folks. It's January something, and motorcycles are out on the streets. And I love it because I hate the
50
winter.
degrees here in Detroit. 50 degrees.
Yeah. I don't know about
Uh,
you. I am not a fan of winter at all.
no. No. Nope. Fight me, commentators. I'm not a fan of winter.
Because like people, I have a friend who's like, oh, you live in northeastern Pennsylvania. You should, if you don't like winter, move. And I'm like, I don't like winter, and deal with it. I can complain about it just as much as during the summer you can complain that you want winter back.
Yeah. Not only that, it's just not the easiest to kind of pick up and move, but
No, it's not. But luckily, I know that if I move to Detroit, I always have a place to stay. Ha ha ha.
Ha ha ha. Uh-oh.
Just constantly putting you on the spot on this.
Yeah, no, didn't see that one coming. Curveball me there.
I don't know. What else? Do you have anything in particular you want to talk about?
I don't want to go to work tomorrow.
Believe me, I'm right there with you.
We're actually starting. So I don't know if I mentioned what I even do with the company. I'm a teacher. I teach technical classes with Little Caesars. So anything technology related, because we have our own in-house IT. So I teach mostly about the POS systems. Our classes typically start at 9, but we're now moving them to 8:30 start times because we have that much material. We have a good reviews that we want to do, and so we just had a hard time fitting it in from 9 to 5, so we're moving them to 8:30 to 5. But that means just a half hour earlier for me and what I got to do and stuff. So not looking forward to that starting tomorrow.
POS system?
Point of sale. It does typically stand for something else, depending when you're out of that, out of that, yes. But and we sometimes joke that our POS is a POS, but point of sales is what it stands for in the restaurant world.
If you say so.
It's point of sale. That's where you do all your transactions.
I believe you.
Yeah.
No, believe me, I hear you about, not wanting to go to work, and I mean, 8:30, that's sleeping in at my job.
Yeah, no, that's right. You're at a 24-hour, 24/7 supermarket, so
Yes.
yeah.
We were actually, a coworker and I, we were there for 6 a.m. this morning, which means it was a 5 o'clock wake up for me.
Yeah.
And that was with him giving me a ride.
Ugh.
Because anyone who doesn't know, I don't drive yet. Well, if it had been me and just the boss, chances are I would have had to be up at 4 so that I could leave my house at 5 so I could get there by 6.
Right.
And it's not, I mean, it's close, but it's not really close.
Obviously you've done the walk before, so an hour sounds right just from doing it driving. But not. Is it just a straight? It is just a straight shot down that one road, right?
There's the turns.
Couple turns in there.
Yeah,
Okay,
a couple like uphill, because it's actually oddly enough it's uphill both ways. Which once I get older, I could say I walked uphill both ways in the snow, and all that stuff like our parents and grandparents say to us.
Right.
But yeah, if you go, but there are turns, and it is dangerous that early because people aren't really thinking, oh hey, there's gonna be someone walking on the side of the road.
Right. Oh gosh.
And it's technically a federal highway.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I'm thinking that, and it's not your fault. It's really not. But I'm thinking that because I was rather unprepared, that I have bored you and the audience enough. So I'm thinking
the audience probably. I could do this. I don't have too much to do, but no. I mean, if you come up with talking points, I'll talk. That's for sure. So,
I promise the
Other than
next
that,
time that I will have, because I'm thinking what I'll do is I think I might get some like weird news articles, and you know what I mean, like when there's a lull in the conversation, I might just be like, here's this story about, what did I read? I didn't read the article, I just read the headline, but it was something about how like in China they're not allowed to use ballpoint pens. However, someone in China invented a better use for ballpoint pens.
what?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, that'd be a definitely good good discussion point there. Huh.
I
Definitely
don't.
would put me it would put me on the edge of my seat because I don't would you plan on giving me this article ahead of time or would you just be like, here's the article, what's your reaction? Like, are you curveballing me again or do I get prep time?
Um, I don't know. I kind of like the curveball thing.
I kind of like it too. Like I'm not asking you to give me prep time. I was just curious which way it was gonna go because
Well, if
yeah,
you
it could
have a
definitely lead
moment,
to me being like, that's interesting, Paul.
I'm actually gonna look it up while we're talking right now. Um, okay, here I found it very easily from the
Oh, I was about
Washington.
to start singing "Don't Stop Believing," but okay.
Oh, we can't pay for that song, Jake. Come on.
All right, I forgot what kind of budget we're working with here.
Okay, from the Washington Post, written by Adam Taylor, January 18th, 2017. Finally, China manufactures a ballpoint pen all by itself. And now I'm not going to even try to pronounce some of these names because that would just be horrible for everyone involved. So I'm just going to say the Chinese president made headlines this week with a speech at the World Economic Forum in Switzerland that passionately defended free trade in the face of a worldwide surge in anti-globalism populism. But closer to home, a less dramatic story may paint a more complicated and nuanced picture of China's role in the global economy. This story involves something as simple as the ballpoint pen. Yes, that humble device you may well have lying around your desk or collecting dust at the bottom of your bag. And China's long and frustrating quest to manufacture it domestically. This month, that quest has finally been fulfilled, and Chinese state media is all over it. Here's one example of the coverage from the English language Twitter account of, I can't pronounce it, some type of news agency. And there's a video here, and it's China has developed its own ballpoint pen tips. I will include this article in the description of this video, so you can check that video out. It's, once you're done listening to this, because, keep listening to the end, people. To anyone outside of the ballpoint pen manufacturing world, it might seem hard to understand what exactly is so surprising about this development. China already produces 38 billion ballpoint pens a year, according to China Daily, which is about 80% of all ballpoint pens in the world. That's a lot of pens, but there was
That
a
is
catch.
a lot of pen.
That is a lot of pens. China had long been unable to produce a high quality version of the most important part of the pen, its tip. The tip of a ballpoint pen is what makes it a ballpoint pen. At the tip, a freely rotating ball is held in a small socket which connects it to an ink reservoir that allows the pen to write or draw lines. Manufacturing a ballpoint pen tip that can write comfortably for a long period of time requires high precision machinery and precisely thin steel, but for years China was unable to match those crafted by foreign companies, which says a lot if China can't manufacture the thing for a long time.
Right.
While there were over 3,000 companies manufacturing pens in China, none had their own high-end technology for the tip. Instead, about 90% of the pen tips and refills, too, were imported from Japan, Germany, and Switzerland, according to Chinese state media. This cost the industry $17.3 million a year, according to the China National Light Industry Council. Their inability to produce a complete, high-quality ballpoint pen came to widespread attention in 2015 when the premier singled out the products at a seminar in Beijing. That's the only name so far that I can actually pronounce. Noting that his writing was rough when he used Chinese-made ballpoint pens. For the premier, China's failure to manufacture a complete ballpoint pen was indicative of the Chinese economy's weakness. Quote, that's the real situation facing us, unquote, the premier said at the time. Quote, we cannot make ballpoint pens with a smooth writing function, unquote. Now, I'm not going to continue reading the whole article, but that's the problem facing China?
Right, like, they were stressed out about this? Maybe we just take ballpoint pens for granted here, that we don't really care where they came from or there's story behind them, but wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've heard that a lot where they say that certain things that they manufacture over there, like, video game parts and things like that, like, they're not allowed to have them because their government is so strict.
Huh.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe it knowing the, strict censorship of China. But wow. Huh.
Yeah. But yeah, I actually was looking up something the other day. Oh, excuse me, the other day about strange news, and that was one of the first things that pops up is China has finally made a ballpoint pen, and I'm like, it's 2017, like.
Like, I think we need to work on pens that just write themselves or something. But that's
we have pens that can write in space, and they're
that's right. They're like, we got guys, we got a ballpoint pen. You're like, all right, cool. So what does it do? Does it shoot lasers? Can I stab people with it? No. You're gonna write on a piece of paper with it. You're like, what?
Not just write, but write for hours.
For hours. Anything you want. Do you want to write some letters? Do you want to write some numbers? Do you want to draw with it? You make some sketches? With this ballpoint pen, you can do that. You're like, what?
Which is like, I mean, I don't know about you. I would assume not in your job, but I barely even use pens anymore. Sorry, for some reason the recording keeps dropping out.
No, I mean, I use pens on occasion for sure, but I just take it for granted, I guess.
Yeah, that's so weird. But yeah, so those are the types of articles that you can look forward to next time.
I'm in. I mean, I'm in whatever we decide to do. I'm having a good time, so.
I'm glad. I'll tell you, this right here, you can tell in my voice, and I know when you were here, you were able to tell. I'm thinking the whole time, I'm like, because I am the type of person who I want everyone to like me, and I consider you a very good friend, and you came all the way here, and now you're taking time out of your day to record this podcast with me, and I'm just like, he's not having a good time. This is so boring to him. I'm wasting his time. And I feel bad.
No, that's what the end button would have been. You would have been talking to dead air for a couple minutes if I was bored by this, you would have learned long ago.
Fair enough. But I did
No.
the whole time. I'm just like, this is so, because I'm like, you could tell. You go back and listen to this episode, you can tell I'm grasping at straws. I'm like, tell us about Detroit Rock City.
Yeah, that just may have been a little unprepared, but it's not. Luckily, I like you enough where I can put up with that. And I mean, I specifically told you, hey, I got this time free, so I make sure that you're not pushing up against anything for me where I'm like, wrap it up, Paul, wrap it up. I'm gonna make sure I got the time set aside for you and set aside for this. We mentioned it was an hour, and we're going on an hour right now, but I don't even know what we said for our lost one, and that ended up going for almost 2 hours. So I make sure I got the time for it, and it's something that I definitely want to do, and I keep you updated on when I can do it and everything because I like doing it. It's fun.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
And like I said, probably once we're off mic, so you're not on the spot, which will probably be the name of this episode, by the way, on the spot.
On the spot, sure.
But yeah, we will definitely have to discuss the next Lost episode that you're going to be on because the people want it, man. I'm looking at my not right this minute, but I've been looking at the Facebook page, and it tells me how many people it reached. From me sharing it, my mother shares it, of course, and the numbers are high for yours well, pretty much the first like 4 or 5 episodes, the
Holy
numbers are
smokes!
pretty high.
Awesome.
They're over. It's almost. It's not like a couple hundred, but it's almost that like 200 people reached. So, and that's
Well,
just
that's
through
great.
Facebook. That doesn't. I don't know how many people your Twitter reaches or Esteban's Twitter reaches or anything like that. So
Well, I could look. I think I could look at those statistics. I think there's like a Twitter analysis or something like that, and I think you're able to look at those. So I might have to check that out.
yeah,
Hey,
people are liking it.
here's something we can discuss for a second. Speaking of episode titles and stuff, what's up with my episode was called Teaneck, New Jersey?
Okay, thank you. Thank you, thank
What?
you.
We didn't
Several
discuss.
episodes
We didn't.
in
We
and
didn't
some
discuss this or anything, so I'm very confused.
several episodes in and somebody finally because no one has asked me. I
For
have
some
and
reason, I just keep forgetting to ask, but it's something
I've
I've been wondering.
I've been sitting here every day and every time I'm like I hope that someone asks me what the point of these episode titles is. And the hint lies in the episode in Mike's episode title, which is "Guys, Where Are We?" Or no, it's what is it? How does
How
something
does
like
something
that
like that
happen?
happen? Where are we?
Slash, guys, where are we? And it's the final few words spoken in each episode of the show, whether it's through a song like Megan's episode is gonna take them away, which was the song that was the last few words in the song that was playing. Yours, it's very very faint, but according to the transcripts on Lostpedia, it says that it's there in the episode Walkabout. They're doing um, the giant fire where they're kind of burning the fuselage,
Right.
and Locke is staring at his wheelchair, and very faintly in the background you can hear Claire say something about somebody who is from Teaneck, I don't know if I'm even pronouncing it right, but Teaneck, New Jersey. And then I looked that up, and that's why in parentheses it says home of co-creator Damon Lindelof, because that's actually where he was born and raised. So
Huh.
that
I'll be damned.
so that is if you look and you go back and watch all the episodes so far, that's where the title of each thing comes, is from the last few words or whatever that are on either spoken or heard on screen.
Wow. Okay. I could. All right, that makes sense now. Okay. I just was so confused. I'm like, we didn't talk about this. Like, well, where's this going? Like, should I be listening again? Did he add something in there? Like, but okay, I get it. I get it.
Actually, I kind of took that from. Now, I haven't watched any of season 2, but I kind of took that from the TV series Quantico. I don't know if you've watched that show. It was premiered last year on ABC.
I've heard good things.
First season was great. Like I said, I haven't seen anything from season 2 yet, but I don't know how it is, and I don't know if it's the exact same way in season 1, or I'm sorry, in season 2, but the episode titles for season 1, it was the last word spoken in each episode was the title of the episode. So like
So they spoil it? Like they spoil
well, no,
it?
not necessarily spoil it, because like, okay, I believe the first episode is called Run, because at the very end of the first episode she yells run. One person yells run to another person, and like one of the episodes is called Quantico, because at the very end of the episode the line is like, we're going back to Quantico or something. But like they don't say like what the full sentence is. It's literally just whatever the last word, like if I'm because it's a like a spy type show, so like if I'm holding a gun to you and I say let's go, the episode would be titled Go.
Oh, huh. Okay. Yeah, sure. I mean, okay, I can roll with it.
I kind of, and I mean, of course, because you don't want to necessarily use the last exact word, because then there's, how many times might somebody say we, or, what I mean, island, or whatever. So that's why I started doing the last few words, or the last sentence, or something like that.
Oh, okay. Thanks for clearing that up.
Thank you
Rest
for
easy.
asking.
Huh. Yeah, just because I never even heard Claire say the whole T-neck thing. I haven't paid attention, so okay,
I
let's.
I honestly never did either. I was looking up because I was looking at the transcript on Lostpedia to see because like they don't have the like they put whatever the song is, but they don't have the words from the song. And I got really upset because in the Tabula Rasa episode, that song, it's gonna take them away or whatever. And there's the guy like mumbles, and I couldn't find out what the one word was. And I looked up lyrics online, and like four different lyric sites have four different things that he mumbles. So I'm like, all right, obviously I'm not going to include the entire line. That's why I'm just going to put take them away.
Okay.
But when I was looking up to see what the final words were, it said that at that scene, and it said Claire, so and so, Teaneck, New Jersey, and I'm like, she says that, and I had to put my disc, put the disc in, and I'm like turning the volume up really loud and putting my ear close to the speaker, and I'm like, she does say that. I've never caught that before. I'm like, but it's there, and I kind of hoped that someone would ask based on that.
Huh. All right. That's yeah, it's interesting, and kudos to whoever wrote the transcript, I guess, for really, really getting detailed. They could have just put in quotes, Claire continues on or something like that, but they got down to the nitty-gritty there.
Well, as you know, with Lostpedia, they're probably one of the best reference points.
Yeah, it's better. Did you ever get the Lost Encyclopedia, that giant book?
I actually have it.
Yes, I got it too, and it's not the best. Like, if you go to on Lostpedia and you go to the Lost Encyclopedia page, there's a list of all the mistakes that encyclopedia made because we're better at these things than somebody paid to write a book about it. So, all the fans actually put the real information on Lostpedia and on that page. So yeah, the Lost Encyclopedia is it's nice, but Lostpedia is a way better reference point.
I agree. I mean, I thought the book was going to be a better, no, I don't want to say a better guide, but just as good as Lostpedia.
Yeah, no, that's what I was aiming for. You can say you thought it would be better. I thought it would be better. I'll say it. Fight me in the comments, but
But I actually, Esteban and I brought this up in his episode, and I said, I'm like, I have that book, and like, I didn't even get to finish with saying I have that book, and he's like, it's terrible. I don't like it. Like,
no, it's
like,
again, it's not. It misses out on things. There's typos. There's omissions and wrong information. It's like I said, read the Lostpedia article on the Lost Encyclopedia, and you'd be like, wow, I can't believe somebody gave the okay on this. Because I thought it was like what Greg Nations or something that was like supposed to be working on this thing, and it's yeah, some chump made it, I guess. But
yeah. Well, like I said, when he said, "Oh, I don't like it," and I'm like, "Well, no," but because I was referencing a particular part, and it was the part where they say, the show is like an iceberg, and what you see on screen is just the tip of the iceberg. And in that book, they say this book is to represent, everything under the surface, everything that you didn't see, and it was supposed to connect things and whatever. And he goes, "That's pretty much the only part of that book that I like."
yeah, I mean, I haven't dusted off the thing in a while because I'm so anti against it, but I, connecting, yeah, it does talk about the connections and stuff like that, but you could get that information from the Lostpedia as well. So,
Which, if I'm not mistaken, the writers actually said at one point, like, we go to Greg Nations when we need to find something, and if he either doesn't have the exact thing we're looking for, they're like, we pretty much go to Lostpedia because they're an amazing reference.
that's true. They have said that, and maybe they should have worked closer with Lostpedia for this book, but it's too late now. That was how many years ago?
Yeah. All right, so there you have it, folks. Lost Encyclopedia, not good.
Because I'm sure they're just loved wanted to hear all about it. That's my rant for the night.
Detroit, great place.
Yes.
What else did we cover? China now makes
China ballpoint pens,
Ball-
fantastic.
Unfortunately, this did turn into Lost with Friends sub show, and hopefully next time it will be better. Like I said, I will be better prepared next time. Thank you for sticking it out with me, Jake. Thank you, listeners, for sticking it out with us. Um, do you, since some of them may not know from the Lost with Friends show, maybe some of them will actually listen to it now. Um, do you want to reiterate your social media places where they can find you so they can, go
Yes.
after you for all of your things, not just in YouTube comments?
Absolutely. Most everything, yeah, and I guess I should say Instagram and Twitter. My handle is Jake LCE. On Facebook, Jacob Wolkan. I'm sure he'll tag me in it, and I will most definitely be sharing the post about it on mine. So yeah, you can find me on most social media, either Jake LCE or Jacob Wolkan. That's WOLKAN for those that really care.
Ooh, that was a nice little like radio thing you did there.
For those that care.
I've actually, you know what? I'll tell you this off mic. There's a little tease, people, so you have to come back because we will talk about this at another point, but it's a future thing. But based on his, social media thing, I'm going to use that as the sign off. Thank you again. There is no real end to this show like there is on the Lost show. I'm just going to say thank you, and that was Paul and all. Wow, that episode was sizzling, wasn't it? For more content like this, how about you subscribe to the channel down below? While you're there, how about you like this particular episode and share it with your friends?